The views, information, and opinions expressed during the following program are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent the views of Access Communications, its representatives, or its employees.
Okay, good evening, everyone. We'll call the first meeting of 24. Declare that open. And under presentations, we have my mayor's address. So I will bore you for a few minutes. Good evening and welcome to our first council meeting of 24. As we move into the last year of our mandate, we look back on some of our accomplishments of the last year, as well as what we would like to complete in 24. So to recap 23, I'll do this in point form, so I won't take up too much of your time. We were excited to host in January last year the Women's Viterra Scotties, and in February the Sasktel Tankards Men's Provincial. I'd like to thank the executive as well as all the volunteers. Couldn't have done it without them. Also in January was the awarding of the Queen's Platinum Jubilee Medals. Congrats to all the deserving recipients. And unfortunately, we didn't have enough medals to go around because we could still be giving them out to this day with all of the deserving people in our community. We would also like to salute Ron and Shirley Carson family for their many years of support to St. Joe's Hospital, and with the atrium at St. Joe's being named in their honor. We were also pleased Mel Murray received a Western Canadian Baseball Life Membership Award for his 37 years with baseball in Estevan. Well deserved. In February, we reached a 3-year collective bargaining agreement with QP Local 726. We also reached a 3-year collective bargaining agreement with the Estevan Police Association. The Aquastor project, carbon dioxide storage, reached a 500,000-ton milestone. We would like to congratulate Bill Kapachowski for being inducted into the Curl Sask Legends of Curling Honor Roll. Well deserved, Bill. Also, the Latman Curling Club celebrated their 100th anniversary. The Kinsmen and Kinettes celebrated another successful telemiracle with over 5.5 million raised. Congrats to a job well done. We contracted Magna Engineering to do a study for potential upgrades to the wastewater treatment plant. Gord and his team at the Southeast Tech Hub did great things this past year with innovations, robotics, and more to come. We would like to thank Dr. Christie, who retired last year after 40 years of service to our community as a physician. Thank you, Dr. Christie. We also salute Vern Buck, who passed last year and who was a strong community supporter. We also continue to work with the province on the new nursing home. I've been on the fundraising committee from the beginning. We're on our 18th year, but we're still optimistic, we're still positive, and we'll continue to meet with the province and continue hopefully to move that project forward. We also continue to work with Sask Power and the province toward the first site for small modular reactors. We should be hearing soon who will be chosen, us or Elbow, Saskatchewan. We were happy to celebrate the Estevan Kinettes' 75th anniversary last year. Arizona Lithium held an open house in April, which is quite exciting that we have prospects of lithium in our area. We were proud to have Braden Pakal come to Estevan in August with the Stanley Cup. One of our longer-serving employees, Norm Mack, retired after 36 years with the city. All the best, Norm, on your retirement. TSM celebrated their 50th anniversary this summer. Congrats to a great local company. The Prairie Winds' 25th annual bike ride for Ronald McDonald House took place in September, thanks to Pam and Paul Curry and all the volunteers who raised over $80,000 during that 25 years. Our addiction center, expanded in size, is now at capacity and continues to give positive contributions to patients. A new pharmacy opened in August. Congrats to the Suris Family Pharmacy, Matthew Allazer and team. Another successful year at the Estevan Motor Speedway. A big thank you to Brad Pearson and team. Premier Mo came to our city in August, on August 22nd actually, for a barbecue at Dennismore Park. On that front, we continue to work toward a MRI in Estevan. And again, I think it looks fairly positive. The latest that we're looking at is over $6 million, but what we're waiting for now is in the provincial budget for the province to pass it in their upcoming budget, and then we can start moving forward with fundraising if they're willing to do that. We salute JS Truck Mart for Business of the Year at the EBEX Awards, along with Burt Baxter Transport for being inducted into the Business Hall of Fame after 65 years in business. We also congratulate all the nominees and winners. We enjoyed another Festival of Trees. Thank you, Laurie Jarvey, and all the volunteers and contributors. We salute Wyatt Thompson and Logan Stewart for winning the Southeast Tech Hub pitch competition, which was held at Southeast College, and we also thank all the presenters. We continue to battle a mental health and addiction crisis in our community, province-wide, countrywide. Under the guidance from the province, we have formed a community safety and well-being group. It meets once a month to discuss the prevalent issues in our community, and hopefully we can find ways how to address them. Out of these challenges, we hope to turn some of these into opportunities. As we look inward to some of the challenges, which sometimes are very painful, we realize that pain is part of the healing process. To turn some of these issues around, we need all hands on deck. We need to collaborate with our federal and provincial partners, especially on the mental health and addiction side. We have to collectively believe in a better future and then all work hard together to make it happen. Remember the two things you can control: attitude and effort. Those who lack courage will always tend to be negative. Negative people have a problem for every solution. This year, we plan the completion of Churchill Park, infrastructure upgrades, and continue to pay down debt. Although we have the shelf-ready downtown project, we're still waiting for further federal funding to complete the project. In closing, as we finish this term on council, I would like to thank this council and staff for their positive contribution to the City of Estevan. I have enjoyed my time on council and would like to thank our community for their continued support. So that is my little dissertation for the year. So could we have a motion, please, to accept that? Thank you. Councillor Cernick, seconded by Councillor Clark. Ready for the question? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Now could we have a motion, please, to adopt the agenda as presented? Thank you. Councillor Ford, seconded by Councillor Walliser. Ready for the question? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, could we have a motion, please, to agree with the minutes that we have, the council meeting held on December 18th, the past minutes. Could we have a motion for that? Thank you, Councillor Vroba, seconded by Councillor Clark.
Your Worship, sorry, there's
go ahead.
Just a spelling error in 2023-331, the motion. It's just for my name, so I don't think it's a huge deal, but I thought just for the official
your
minutes.
name was misspelled. What did they call you instead of Shelley?
Verboa.
Verboa, I like it. I like it, Miss Verboa. It's got a ring to it. Anyway, thank you for that, Councillor Vroba. Did we have the motion, right? Ready for the question? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, under original, communications, delegations, and petitions. Wow, this is a first. We don't have anything this evening under that. Under written reports of committees, we have the Estevan Art Gallery and Museum minutes of November. Could we have a motion, please, to accept those? Thank you, Councillor Cernick. Seconded by, I should start watching the screen. Councillor Frank is with us this evening. He's under the weather. He didn't want the rest of us to get sick, so he graciously agreed to stay home. So I'll try to keep an eye on you tonight. Councillor Frank, did you second that? Did I see that little hand go up? There it is. Okay, thank you for that. Seconded by Councillor Frank. Ready for the question? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, under written reports of committees, we have from the Southeast Transportation Planning Committee minutes of November 28th. Could we have a motion, please, for those? Thank you. Councillor Clark, seconded by Councillor Cernick. Ready for the question? All in favor? Carried. Councillor Clark, anything you want to add?
Thanks, Your Worship. We do have a couple of things we're working on, and it's to do with they want us to track the economic development in our area in the southeast, and see how they fit in with the corridors that are there, and prioritize them by that. So we are doing that. We're also at our next meeting, which is at the January 23rd. Minister Carr is going to attend, so that's great. She's Minister of Highways, and we thought it was a great opportunity being in our area to come and talk to us and get some feedback from us, I hope. So that's what's going on at Southeast Transportation. Thank you. Okay,
thank you for that. And I'm sure we'll all have our questions for Minister Carr when she comes, so it's great. Okay, next, under executive reports, we have from the Public Works Manager, the half-ton truck tender. And we have Haley with us this evening. Thank you, Haley, for coming tonight. So I'll just go over this 2024 half-ton pickup trucks. The recommendation is that 24 half-ton pickup truck be awarded to Murray GM of Estevan. Murray GM met all the specs and criteria outlined in our City of Estevan tender. The winning bid was $64,644.61 per truck before taxes, for a total of $137,046.573 for the 2 units. There's a 1 digit out of line there, but we'll just say, for sake of argument, the last is 73 cents instead of 573 cents. Okay, so what's the wish of council on this? We have Haley, if needed, to answer any questions. Now, City Manager, this comes out, we put money aside for all of our vehicles every year, so this isn't anything that's out of the budget recommendation.
Thank you, Worship. Yeah, so we continue to have the $450,000 that goes into fleet renewal, and all our divisions kind of prioritize our needs for equipment and vehicles, and this has been budgeted for within that.
Okay, thank you for that. Any questions or comments? Councillor Vroba.
Thank you, Worship. I can make the motion that we go ahead and proceed to purchase these 2 vehicles. Do we also take 2 vehicles out of stock then, like out of the fleet, and then do they go to auction, or how do we proceed with that?
Yes, that's what we usually do. Yes, we will.
Yeah. So do we know the age of the 2 vehicles that we're taking out, or they're just, we take our 2 oldest vehicles out then, I'm
That's
assuming,
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just to clarify how we do that.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's good. Thank you.
Yeah, I would be guessing, Councillor Vroba, but I'm going to say they're 4 or 5 years old at least.
Yeah. And we've been doing this since I've been on council anyways. We're keeping the fleet updated and getting good money for the return for the vehicles that do go to auction. And also the repairs have been pretty much obsolete. So
Yeah, the City Manager helped us out a lot with that, with the fleet renewal. It's been a great idea, and it's allowed us to continue to replenish our fleet over time.
Yeah. No, it's a good idea, and I'll make that motion.
Okay, thank you for that. Have we got a seconder? Councillor Cernick? Any further questions or comments? Seeing none, ready for the question? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Okay, next, under executive reports, we have from the Parks Manager, the Tourism Churchill Playground Design RFP tabled from December 18th. Thank you, Haley, for coming. Appreciate you taking time out of your evening for that. You're more than welcome to stay. I know how exciting these council meetings are, but we do understand if you have other things you have to do. Okay. Okay, so with the Churchill Park play structure, again, we discussed that last meeting. Following the review of the intake process, council requested on December 18th, public survey be conducted, recommended by Shannon Water, Parks Manager. We had a questionnaire that went out. We received 246 surveys completed from December 21st to January 3rd. Of the recipients, 73 answered they were Churchill Park patrons, 18 were not users of the park, 9% chose to offer a comment as an alternative to the yes/no answer provided. As per the final, inevitably more important question, the survey concluded that option A was the respondents' preferred park structure choice by a difference of 67%. The recommendations, I would recommend, as per the results of the survey, we move forward with the play structure featured in option A while maintaining that small changes may be made in the ordering installation process in order to adapt to the park space and atmosphere. Shannon, thank you for coming this evening. Did you have anything to add to that?
No.
Okay, thank you for that. We'll open the floor to council then. What's the wish of council on this? Go ahead, Councillor Walliser.
Thank you, Your Worship. I move that we proceed with option A and thank the community for showing us that Shannon was spot on with her recommendation. I think it's really built excitement about the pool that's already available, but also the coming attractions. So I know the kids in the community have a close eye for when we're going to open this one.
Okay, thank you for that, Councillor Walliser. Have we got a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Ford. Any further questions, comments on this? Seeing none. Ready for the question? All in favor? Carried. Thank you so much. Thank you, Shannon, for all of your work on this. Thank you, Councillor Walliser. I know you did a lot of work on this as well. Thank you both, along with all of the staff. Thank you so much. Okay, moving forward under executive reports, we have from the Leisure Facilities Manager, the pickleball request update. Pickleball is an up-and-coming game that's really gaining popularity. So we've had a request for permanent pickleball lines to be painted on the existing tennis courts. So some of our tennis people are not overly enthused with that. So options and solutions. Option 1, we invest $4,000 to $5,000 in painting permanent pickleball lines on the existing tennis courts. There are, however, concerns from the tennis club regarding the number of lines on the court and how that will impact tennis play members. The proposal for new lines would then turn the pickleball courts from north-south facing to east-west. This will allow for more courts to be placed in the area. But lines could become concerning. We do not have a proposal or map, with specific details from Pickleball to confirm. A request has been made to the club. Option 2, dedicate $175,000 in the 2025 budget for the construction of 3 pickleball courts between the skateboard park and existing tennis courts. Dan Croker, Facilities Manager, has researched the costs involved and stated that this amount would cover the costs of asphalt, pickleball services, SR high chain link fence, and windscreen. Please see the attached map Dan has provided. Recommendations. We would recommend option 2 for us to move forward with the construction of 3 brand new pickleball courts. We believe this would satisfy the Estevan Pickleball Club's request and dampen the concerns of the tennis club. Should new facilities be built, we would also recommend a seasonal fee or a fundraising percentage be considered as we move forward, because of course with the associated costs. So what's the wish with council? I believe Councillor Vroba, you had your hand up first. Go ahead.
Thank you, Worship. I would actually like to recommend and make the motion that we do go with option 2. I did speak with a few people with the pickleball club and the tennis club. The tennis club has a very dedicated following as well, but the pickleball is very much up and coming, and a lot of people are starting to join and do that. And so they do not want to see the permanent lines painted on the tennis court if they're able to have the pickleball courts constructed in 2025. So I would...
Okay, and I guess I'm thinking out loud, should this be a decision that, you know, that's a fair amount of money that this council should make? Or should we kick the ball down the road to the new council?
Yes, sorry, I've just rephrased that. My recommendation would be that we do not proceed with replacing the pickleball courts this year, that we just let them continue to do the lines, and that
temporary lines.
Right, temporary lines, that's what they've been doing, and that we move this into the next council decision, because you're right, we should not be making a motion right now of what to put into the 2025 budget, but we can make the motion to move it to the 2025 budget, and then it'll be the new council decision whether they proceed or not.
Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you, Councillor Vroba. Councillor Frank. Go ahead, Councillor.
My one comment towards this, just knowing how we handle with other large projects with other user groups, and I know we have a bit of conversation just about the Power Dodge arena coming up here soon too. One thing I'd really love to see would be the pickleball club, if they could do a little bit of fundraising, whether that be naming rights, that might be something to work with our management team on. It's something we would expect of hockey or of other sports, so I think you know, I definitely agree with Councillor Vroba. This is something we can defer to the 2025 budget. I think having them as a separate facility is a fantastic addition to the community, but if we can get them using some of this time to raise some of that money and get community buy-in, that would be a great advantage to making it happen.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Frank. I agree with that. That makes sense. They could put forward their best foot and start fundraising. Absolutely. Councillor Ford.
Thanks, Your Worship. Thanks for coming tonight, Aaron. Have you been in contact with anybody in Weyburn? I know Weyburn has a shared tennis pickleball court. Have you heard from them how that works? I know they have like a booking system and everything, but I'm not quite sure how, if it goes smoothly for them or if it is going horribly for them or what.
So most of my conversations with peers is a challenge when you combine tennis and pickleball everywhere. So if we are looking at this and looking at separating it, it probably is in our best interest.
Okay. Your Worship, I would also kind of echo Councillor Vroba and Councillor Frank, and I would like to defer this to the 2025 budget, but I would like to see pickleball put some sort of effort into fundraising. I know, like Councillor Frank said, softball kind of came up with a proposal saying we had X amount of dollars. Do you think the city could match it? If we could see something like that from pickleball, I'd feel a lot better about making the decision to build those 3 courts.
Okay. Councillor Vroba, were you willing to make that a motion?
Yeah, I made the
not
motion.
only forward this, but that, as Councillor Frank had suggested, that they start fundraising as well?
Yeah, and the recommendation, which is basically what I'm basing my motion on, it did say about the fundraising percentage. And Sean, who is a member of both the tennis club and the pickleball club that I talked to, did state that they were interested in helping make this become a reality. So I don't know what they've started, what they've talked about or anything like that. It was just one conversation well, 2 conversations, but one since this came out. And so, yeah, I feel like they would really get behind this as well, too, to make it happen. So I think it would be good to have a conversation with them, so.
Okay, thank you. And Councillor, I don't want to say Travis. Councillor Frank, are you okay since you had the suggestion? Would you second that then with the suggestion that they start fundraising?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you for that. Go ahead, Councillor Clark.
Thanks, Your Worship. I think we should give them some clear direction on how much they should raise, and perhaps if they raise it all before the spring, that they would have the opportunity to start right away and not wait until next year. That I think it would be fair to say this is a group that should have some means to raise some money, and if they can do it, let's not hold them back. But I do think if we're going to give them direction for next year, it should be some kind of help. You know, what are we looking at? Are we looking at 50% or a third or that? So I'm not sure if that's possible or not. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Froba?
So the only problem that I would have with giving them any kind of a certain amount would be that then I feel like we're going into an actual agreement with them, and I think that needs to be given to the next council. So because it's 2025, look, I agree with you. If we were making this decision right now, truthfully, by us deferring it to 2025, the next council could just say, no, it's not in the budget and it won't happen. But again, if pickleball really wants this to happen and they start making the fundraising efforts now, I like your idea too, that they could come up with a large portion and have it done by this spring. So, I mean, yeah, there's been other clubs before where donors have come forward and made it happen for them sooner than what our original plan has been. But I think for this motion, I would just like to see that we enter into a discussion that they start in a fundraising effort of their own.
Yeah, sure. We can, look at the wait and see attitude. If they come forward with a lot of money, if their efforts are more positive than anyone would think, then I think we could have the discussion with them at that time as well. Councillor Frank, you had your hand up?
Sorry, yeah, actually, Councillor Roma mentioned it right at the end there. I was thinking even our management team could meet with them just to kind of sort of start fleshing out what that might look like and can come back with some recommendations. I don't know. I'm not involved in the pickleball community, so I'm not sure if they would feel if they could raise the whole amount. I would agree with Councillor Clark. If they could raise the whole amount, I'd put a shovel in tomorrow. But if they can come up with a bit of a plan and we can start working towards it, I think we can at least start moving that ball forward. So, yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Any other discussion, comments, questions? Seeing none, ready for the question. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, under executive reports, we have Leisure Services, Power Dodge Arena report. Thank you, Aaron, for being with us tonight. Of course, we've had concerns on the structure, along with other concerns, with this Power Dodge Arena, with it being an aged structure and all the rest of it. We have put quite a bit of money into it. I think we've kept it up fairly well, but having said that, with it being aged, there's, some questions around, right now, the latest one is the boards. So options and solutions before the end of January. Aaron, you've agreed to host a user group meeting, including all ICE organizations and lacrosse. You will meet with all of the interested parties, get feedback. This will provide us a better understanding of what is required to best meet the needs of the organizations in the community. As well, Dan Croker, who's very experienced, facilities manager, Matt Angel, again, along with you, Aaron, will research, price out options to address these needs. You'll revisit the needs of the PDA with Council in March to decide the best steps based on the information that you have received. Anything else you'd like to add to that, Aaron? No. Okay. So it is recommended that Leisure Management meet with all the user groups as identified, gather information to make an informed decision on the best possible solutions for addressing any concerns. A report will be created looking at the longevity of Power Dodge Arena and possible options for future planning. So I think to me that makes the most sense. Councillor Frank, go ahead please, you had a comment?
Thanks, Your Worship. Yeah, I love the idea. I've had a chat with a couple of people from a few different user groups over the last few weeks, and definitely I think they want to see some collaboration just on long-term plans as well as short-term plans here. I know there's, of course, always been some good dreams of replacing the Power Dodge Ice Center as well as the third rink, and those are things we'd never not want to see, but they come at a cost and they have a long kind of plan out time. So I like the idea of collaborating a bit with them, figure out what we can do to keep this structure up to date and functioning as long as we can, as well as kind of start brainstorming and coming up with plans for the future.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for that. And I mean, optimistically, looking forward on the nuclear side, once we get more decision-making on the federal, provincial side around some of the big issues that may be coming to Estevan, which will generate more funds for the community, then I think the council of the day can start looking. I know the city manager's already looking at potential opportunities as far as what we may be looking at for structures. I know we've been approached for a field house. We've already been approached in the past for a new rink. I mean, I think we could get a basic rink, but let's be honest, we're still looking at $10 million. The field house, even if we covered the walking track at the comp, we're looking at about 10 million. These are both large items. You know, that's something the new council will have to look at, decide, make decisions. But I think at the very least, we have to wait on some of these bigger projects coming down the pike to our community. Any other comments on this? Councillor Cernick.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll just make the motion to accept this recommendation from Leisure Management. I think all the user groups will appreciate being involved, and I can't wait for the outcomes.
Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Have we got a seconder? Councillor Ford. Thank you. Any further comments? Saying none. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, under executive reports, we're looking at building inspector permits for December and the 10-year comparison report. Could we have a motion, please, to accept these? Thank you. Councillor Walliser. Seconded by Councillor Cernick. Thank you. Any further questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Thank you, management staff. God bless you all. You do a tremendous job for us. Thank you so much and good night. Okay, moving forward, introduction of bylaws, we have none this evening. Public hearings and reports, we have none this evening. Giving notice, nothing this evening. Motions from committee, none. Consideration of bylaws, none. Inquiries, Councillor Roba.
Thank you, Your Worship. Actually, the only thing I have to say is, again, Happy New Year to everyone, and kudos to everyone that was involved in the Woodlawn light display, because that light display this year was excellent for anyone that went down there. I'm sure you enjoyed it. And again, Jubilee Place was a part of that Twinkle Tour, and we had a lot of vehicles going down there. But there was also a lot of great areas that were lit up. I noticed nice lights over there on 2nd Street by Councillor Clark's house. So yeah, thank you to everyone that had the spirit of Christmas this year, and
absolutely
looking forward to the new year now.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I know the Woodlawn experience is always well received. We would like to thank everyone that participated in that. I know Rotary Club did. It was all well received, and they even have the donation, which I know they do very well with the donation. So we'd like to thank everyone that participated, not only in putting it up, but in actually going on the tour. And I was part of that tour in Jubilee Place, and you guys did a great job, as did other areas of the neighborhood. I think Councillor Walliser, her house was well lit up as well. So thank you for everybody on that. Go ahead, Councillor Clark.
Thanks, Your Worship. Yes, Happy New Year to all, and I hope this is a great year, and let's hopefully that we can do the things the community wants. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Councillor Walliser.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just a reminder to the community that you are responsible for the sidewalk in front of your house. We are seeing more foot traffic all the time. Lots of people having to walk down the middle of the street because their neighborhoods have impassable sidewalks.
Okay, good point. We do have the bylaw. Thank you for that. Councillor Ford.
Thanks, Your Worship. Just an update on the Tech Hub happenings this month. On January 18th from 7 to 8:30 at the Tech Hub, there's going to be a talk called AI, what is it and how is it going to affect us? Anybody can come to it. You can get your tickets on Eventbrite, which you can find the link for through the Southeast Tech Hub page.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Ford. And that would be artificial intelligence. Everything that you had questions in store but were afraid to ask, Gord and his team will be more than happy to assuage your fears and have that discussion with you. Councillor Cernick.
Thank you, Worship. Yeah, Happy New Year to everybody. A quick inquiry was just lots of compliments on the lights on the water tower. So
yes,
just something so small brought people a lot of joy. So
yes, thank you for that. And I know our previous councillor from Power Dodge, Councillor Nibs, said when we do the renovations, we have to have lights on the tower. He was adamant, so he'll be happy at those comments. Go ahead, Councillor Frank.
Nothing this evening, Your Worship.
Okay, thank you. Well, you stay home, get better. We will expect you to show at the next council meeting. With all of your...
Yeah, I get the irony that I announced I wasn't running in meetings, but I promise that's not my attitude. I'll be here for the next 11 months smiling. You and I will be filling out our days, Your Worship.
Okay, appreciate that. Thank you for that. City Manager, any other comments you'd like to make?
Thank you, Worship. Just a reminder that budget is out for feedback. I know the next council meeting on January 22nd will be summarizing the feedback that we have for council, so please, if you've not had the chance to go look at that and provide feedback, please do so.
Very good point. Thank you for that reminder. City Treasurer.
I'd just like to say Happy New Year.
Okay, thank you. And I as well would like to wish the very best of 24 to everyone. May it be a prosperous and healthy new year for all of our community members. City Clerk.
Your Worship, I would like to announce that 2024 is our next election year. So anybody interested, there will be forms coming out in September, but get thinking, maybe talk to some councillors, maybe talk to some people who've been in council for a very long time, but think about it.
Well, thank you for that, City Clerk. And yes, democracy is a lovely thing. It's not for the faint of heart, but I would absolutely encourage everyone that has an interest, and I know there's a lot of people interested in our community, to step forward and look at some of these positions because, it's well worthwhile. It gives you a very good insight into the workings of our community. And we need good people in these positions, so absolutely. With that, do we have a motion to move into committee? Thank you. Councillor Clark, seconded by Councillor Vroba. Ready for the question? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. We stand adjourned. Good night.
If you'd like to share your feedback on the program you just watched, contact us today